Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? It is Monday morning. I know you're aware of that already. But I hope you're doing good. Hey, we survived leg day. Can still walk. It's amazing. So I hope you're doing good and having a good morning so far. It's great to see you. And I just want to start by saying some great things over your week. You're with Life Builders, bringing you simple tips to build a strong and healthy life on. And I just want to say that I hope you have a very productive week. I hope you have a week that gives you a lot of answers, that you're going to have a week that brings you a lot of joy, that brings you a lot of peace, and brings you some rest too. Good morning, Erica. Good morning, Sue. I got my Florida gals on there. Good morning. It's probably beautiful and sunny over there, right? It's like raining here today for the next like 3 or 4 days. So you guys got all the sun. I'm happy for you. I wish it was here. But anyway, good to see you this morning. So, got a couple things to talk about. One is last month we read the book Uninvited. I hope you loved it. I loved it, and it really changed a lot of my life and revealed to me a lot of the things. It was about rejection and living loved. Oh, Erica says it's a gorgeous day here. I bet it is. You lucky dog, you. But next month, we're going to be reading a different book. We're going to be reading this book, When Breath Becomes Air. I'm sorry, it is backwards. When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. I haven't tried to pronounce that yet. It's a memoir of he's a neurosurgeon, and he gets stage 4 lung cancer. I haven't read it yet, but everybody I talked to that's read it said this should be required reading for every single person. And so I'm going to be reading it. Good morning, Beth. And I'd love to have you join me in reading this in April. Order it, Amazon Prime, 2 days. You know, you can have it in 2 days in your hands. And so I'm going to be reading that, and it sounds like a phenomenal book. So we'll see how that goes. And I just finished last night what is it called? Talk Like TED. It's all about TED Talks and presentations and how tips from great speakers and how to make great presentations. So I spent a lot of time watching TED Talks this year. So anyway, that's what's going on with me. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm in Damien's office. I kind of took it over. I stole it because he's not here. And so we got some fun things in here. Here's a picture of us. This was like 20 years ago. And I think this is kind of how we usually work. I was kind of being a brat, and they said 1, 2, and then I squeezed his knee really hard, but then I'm still smiling. It made him look silly, so that's kind of how our relationship works. I usually do things that make him look silly, and I just smile like I'm sweet. So anyway, let's talk about today. The topic is why your brain needs a break. You know, talk to about your week and rest and peace and all of those things, and we're going to be talking about some stuff from this book, which is Switch on Your Brain. And this is a phenomenal book. The reason I bring this up is because one of my dear lovely children the other day asked me, Mom, why do we have to have a quiet time except for it suits your schedule? And I was like, okay, well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about why we do a quiet time. If you've been following me for some amount of time, you probably know that I arrange our schedules so that my girls and I all have 30 minutes of quiet time a day. And sometimes I'm reading, sometimes I'm just like sitting there doing nothing. I occasionally sat there and done nothing for 30 minutes. But, you know, sometimes I'm praying and stuff. So, but the reason I started doing it is after I started reading this book and about what having quiet time or directed rest does for your brain. And I thought, oh my gosh, we need to do this. Oh, Sarah, another one of my Florida girls. I so need to hear this today. That's awesome. I think there's more people in Florida right now than from California. But yeah, good. I'm so happy because we're going to be talking about this. And brain research. You guys, this is going to be a little bit about brain science, but it's fascinating stuff. Your brain actually needs directed rest. And what happens is you kind of have your conscious going on and your unconscious going on. Your unconscious brain is kind of like Google Maps running in the background, you know, where anytime where you go and you just press on that arrow, it tells you where you are. It's like kind of following you. That's what your unconscious brain is kind of doing, but it is actually taking up 20 times more of your brain energy than your conscious brain. All the things that we're aware of, that's taking 20 times less energy than all the things that we're not aware of that are going on. And your unconscious mind at any time is taking 60 to 80% of the brain energy that you're using. Good morning, Pam. Good to see you. So your unconscious brain is really, really important. And what happens often as a culture, we've gotten so to where we are so engrossed in our conscious brain, and we're just always thinking, always going, always, pushing, always activating. We're always busy, that we have forgotten to take the time to go into that state of directed rest. But it's really important for your brain health to have that directed rest where you turn off the external stimuli and you let your brain run. And it looks like you're resting, but actually your brain is going to be doing more than you were when you were active, because what it does is it allows you to go further inside your brain than you would if you didn't take that time. And I wrote a bunch of notes so I could tell you. So you may be saying, like, what is directed rest? Directed rest is any time that you're taking the time to focus internally. So you shut off everything. You're like people say, like, lock yourself in the closet. Have that quiet time. You are shutting down your Facebook. You're shutting down your phone. You're ignoring all the external stimuli that wants to pull at you all day. All the thoughts that are coming through your mind. I got to do this. I got to do accounting. I got to do that. I got to do this. You're shutting that all down, and you're going into a state of focus. And you're going into a state, it could be daydreaming, it could be learning something, it could be memorizing something, memorizing scripture, or praying, or singing, or just going into a state of deep thinking. This is very, very healthy for your brain. And the healthiest people are people who are professional meditators who can actually shift easily between the directed rest and the active. Directed rest and active. There is a whole network in your brain called the default mode network. And that's what we use when we're in that rested state. And I just wanted to read you a little bit of what it says about that. Because it looks like we're resting. It looks like you're not doing anything, but it's totally not true. So it says, this is a primary network that we switch into when we switch off from the outside world and move into a state of focused mindfulness. Okay, this is from Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Carolyn Leaf. It activates to even higher levels when a person is daydreaming, introspecting, or letting his or her mind wander through a myriad of thoughts within the mind. It's a directed, deeply intellectual focusing inward and tuning out the outside world. It's a cessation from active external, which is like the Sabbath when we switch off from the world and we focus. In this directed state, the directed rest state, you focus inward and you introspect and you appear to slow down. Good morning, Kelly. But actually, your mental resources speed up. This is what happens when you're having a quiet time. It looks like you're resting. But if you're meditating or memorizing, this is what's happening. Your mental resources speed up and your thinking moves to a higher level. When you think in this way, when you pause your activity and enter directed rest, you will emerge far ahead of where you would have been if you just operated within the realms of the shifting, shuffling, limited, conscious, cognitive mind. When our brain enters the rest circuit, we don't actually rest. We move into a highly intelligent, self-reflective, directed state. And the more often we go there, the more we get in touch with the deep spiritual part of who we are. So some of the benefits that happen, we didn't talk about yet, is you have increased intelligence. You have increased wisdom. I wrote them all down because there's a lot. You have increased peace, increased happiness, increased immune system health, increased cardio health. Oh, Kelly. Higher level thinking, increased gamma waves in your brain, which relate to attention and memory and learning. You have experienced positive emotions. And this is so cool, you guys. The PET scans and the EEGs even show that it bulks up the brain parts that are responsible for peace and happiness. We need to do this, guys. We need to have these moments where we are able to enter our directed rest and get our brains strong It only takes 5 to 16 minutes a day, and that is scientifically shown to shift the state of your frontal brain, your frontal lobe, which is where your thinking happens. So 5 to 16 minutes a day of quiet and directed rest is what allows us to change how we think, and it's going to change even how you feel. You're going to have more happiness and more peace. And so this is why we do 30 minutes a day of quiet time with my girls. I mean, they're like, oh, really? But to me, I'm like, this is so important. So I had her read this. My daughter was saying, why do we have to do this? And so I had her read all this information because I wanted her to know it's for your brain, it's for your health, it's for your peace and your happiness, not just for that. All right, let's see. So Kelly said, I so need this right now. However, trying to find the time. I know you are busy, girl. It's hard to find the time, huh? But if you could just put in 5 minutes, maybe would be great. 5 to 16 minutes. Let's see. So, and Sarah said, this is so perfect because ever since my little 4-year-old stopped napping, I really wanted to institute a 30-minute quiet time. This is confirmation. Pray for me that it goes peaceful. Yeah, let's hear your practical questions, because what I used to do when my kids were little, even if they didn't have nap, is I'd have them go to their room and spend 20, 30 minutes. And when they're little, you could do it for shorter, but they even play. They would maybe build with Legos. Sometimes they will go on the piano and put in their earbuds so that I'm not hearing it, but they're having their own quiet time. Sometimes they're creating art. So they're not just sitting and memorizing or something like that, but they are having a rested time where they're getting their brain focused on creativity. Hi, good morning, Lauren. And Sarah said, what would you ask your girls to do during this quiet time? That's what I asked them to do, and they come up with their own thing. And I think they love it in some cases because they're like, we don't have to jump straight into like academics. We have a few minutes to kind of get our brain wrapped around our day. And then also, Sarah, you asked, I have my 10-year-old, I have her read a chapter of Proverbs a day, and she has a little devotional. So whatever, if we're on, today's the 20th, so she would read the Proverbs chapter 20 and read her little devotional, and then she spends the rest of the time creating or just relaxing. I mean, how many times do our kids have downtime to really go to their room and just read a book or do something simple or daydream or list or, whatever they want to do? That's what we do. So, and sometimes I do the same. Sometimes, honestly, sometimes I just sit there for 30 minutes and let my brain go blank, or just have a blank piece of paper and write down whatever comes to my mind. And sometimes I'm reading, sometimes I'm praying, sometimes it's just a time to kind of get into, just block out the world and get inside, which we need to do. So I hope that encourages you. I think I did read that one. I mean, not read that one, but I told you about it, about the gamma waves and all that stuff. So anyway, find some time to be quiet today. If it's 5 minutes, it's good. Find some time to block out the world and go inside here. And you're going to just find those moments where you can connect really deeply, and it's not a waste of time. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not a waste of time. It's important. So you guys find the time, even if it's 5 minutes. 5 minutes of downtime where you're sitting in your car waiting for your kid to get out of whatever sport or whatever. Just take the time. And good morning, Teresa. Always informative and encouraging. Good job. Thank you. Well, I love learning new things, and I love sharing them with you. So that's what I'm trying to bring to you guys, is all the new stuff I get to learn. So I hope you guys have an awesome Monday and an awesome week. Just praying that, you know what, you guys have the favor of God going with you, and you're going to have an awesome week, and He's going to be walking beside you every step of the way. And I'm just praying that you're going to have solutions, you're going to have blessings, you're going to have favor, you're going to have gifts and surprises, you're going to have all kinds of good things coming your way this week, and you're going to find that time, and you're going to have solutions to the problems that you've been facing. So good. You're welcome, Beth. I love you all. Mwah! May your minds be fierce today, and your heart strong, and your spirits very kind. Have a great day. I will see you Wednesday, 8:30. Bye.